Netflix from the Wrap. I don't know why the ads are so popping up here, but from Netflix opposition to movie theaters cracks as pressure mounts from exhibitors and talent analysis. Alan, you have the notes for the story. Give it to me because I had an experience recently. I saw Frankenstein in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Sunday night and it was packed. The theater I saw it at was packed. Couldn't believe it.
Me too.
And saw the film on the big screen, and people who saw the movie on Netflix don't like it as much. I understand why. This is a movie made for theaters. Alan, give me the notes for the story.
Okay, so this is a long one, so we could break it up. Netflix might finally be forced to put its movies in theaters. Filmmaker Zach Krieger, fresh off the success of Weapons, was set to make his next sci-fi film, The Flood, for Netflix under Amblin's deal with the streamer. However, the project fell into limbo when Krieger demanded a theatrical release, something Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos vetoed. The fallout highlights Netflix's ongoing struggle to attract top talent who increasingly insist on big screen releases. Netflix publicly maintains that it is not a theatrical business, yet its recent actions tell a more complicated story. K-pop Demon Hunters became Netflix's first #1 box office hit with 19 million and returned to theaters for a second run. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein had a 3-week theatrical before hitting Netflix. The Duffer Brothers Stranger Things finale will screen on theaters on New Year's Eve. Greta Gerwig's Narnia is getting Netflix's first IMAX release in 2026. Do you want to respond to that first?
No, keep going.
Okay, despite Sarandos' insistence that there are special cases, insiders say the streamer is rethinking its stance, especially after filmmakers like Duffer Brothers, Zach Krieger defected to theatrically friendly studios like Paramount. Netflix has reportedly hired an investment bank to explore buying Warner Brothers, a move that would all but force it into the theatrical game. Industry consultant Herman Lopez noted, if Netflix ends up winning Warner Brothers, there's no question they will have to be in the theatrical business. If the acquisition fails, he predicts Netflix will soften its stance, become much like it did with ads and sports. The main sticking point remains release window. How long a movie plays in theaters before streaming. AMC CEO Adam Aron has historically resisted Netflix's short window, but recently expressed optimism after K-pop Demon Hunter's success, hinting at more collaboration. Industry insiders believe the situation will evolve naturally as exhibitors, desperate for new content, relax window policies further. Netflix's rigid policy has long frustrated filmmakers and exhibitors alike. I'm just gonna go through here real quick. Just continuing on with the main theme. We pretty much got it there, but I had spoken to a famous director who made a movie for Netflix and has one coming out soon, and I asked him about this. And he told me that the reason Netflix doesn't do theatrical is it cannibalizes subscribers. Right. And that's why they won't do it. And they've made some exceptions. His movie appeared in over the Thanksgiving weekend. And then certainly deals struck I think Netflix is softening to strike deals in order to get the talent. And that may require them to go theatrical. But I still don't see them as wanting to do this as a regular practice.
Well, I'll just say this. Netflix built its company based on attracting talent and giving them creative freedom. But what they've done is they're killing movie theaters. They are putting out objectively excellent movies, okay? Films worthy of Oscar nominations. But there's a reason the term "that's a movie for streaming" means it's not worth seeing in the theater. But Netflix, if Frankenstein is any example, or Train Dreams which may get Oscar noms, is not a movie I want to see on streaming. Okay. You will be distracted. That is a theatrical experience. And Frankenstein, I would say, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein absolutely must be seen in a theater. Netflix needs to get serious and start. They could have some movies that are in the top 10 box office. K-pop Demon Hunters were it theatrically released and then came on Netflix in, say, 45 days or couple months, it would have made $1 billion. $1 billion. That film. They're throwing money away. Alan, I'm angry.
A freaking IKEA chair.
Netflix. You've built your company attracting the top talent. You've given them creative freedom to do what they want. And what the creators are saying now, they want movies in theaters. Give it to them. Give it to the public. Save theaters. It makes the movies feel like they have more value. There's a reason the term streaming movie is not a compliment. It means it's not worth seeing in a theater. Yes, I'm repeating myself because I want you to learn we love what you're doing, but I want to see it in a theater. And I want it on 35 millimeter, not digital.
69.
Give it to us, Netflix. Please. I would even go see the new Once Upon a Time in Hollywood series with Brad Pitt. I'd go see it in a theater, kind of like serials. They used to. You probably know about this, Alan. You know your film history.
Mm-hmm.
They would do serials in the theater. Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, among many others. There'd be a new episode in theaters every week. This is before television. It was long-form storytelling. Why not experiment? And it can be limited screenings. It doesn't have to play every day. You do limited screenings, but Netflix, obviously, you've got great taste. You've attracted the best talent. But if Zach Kreger from Weapons is any indication, other creators need to stand up. I need to say, Netflix, I'd love to work with you. Put it in a theater.
A freaking IKEA.
I'm cutting myself off.
Alan,
I want to hear what you think about this, but I'm really pissed. I'm really pissed.
Yeah. Look, okay. So of all the movies that have come out in theaters for Netflix, they all have one thing in common, and Netflix didn't have to advertise any of them.
Yes.
And to me, that seems to be the model. If Netflix doesn't need to spend a dime for you to watch their movie, they'll put it in theaters for a limited time. But look, we say it over and over again. The reality is that movies should be seen in movie theaters, and they suffer when they're on your television. You don't get the community experience unless you have people over, and even then you get a limited movie experience because there are distractions, which you don't get in the theater. And then also, it doesn't make your movie special when you can't make it an event. And I hate to say it, Frankenstein is an event movie. Del Toro, I'm pretty sure if Del Toro could do it all over again, he'd probably go somewhere else and do it theatrically.
Absolutely. This needs to change. This needs to change because I love Netflix. I have been a subscriber forever. Back when they used to mail you DVDs. And Netflix even supported Film Threads by putting, used to put movies out on DVD in the early 2000s. And Netflix bought every one of our films. They'd buy like hundreds of copies. And I wish I had saved one of the envelopes. But, I was a Netflix guy. You send it back. They made it very simple. And you could see a lot of films. They went to streaming and changed the industry for good ways and bad ways. And I really think the movies will not survive if theaters don't survive. And Netflix, this is a plea. Put your films in theaters. Alan, any final thoughts before you?
Yeah. One thing, I think we talked to people at Netflix about this, but it appears that Netflix is probably significantly reducing its own personal studio productions, meaning they're not going to make movies anymore. And what they seem to be doing, and Train Dreams' example of that, is they are buying movies that are already made and then slapping the Netflix label on it. Train Dreams was the one movie people are talking about out of Sundance, and Netflix bought it. And as you say, that movie is an art movie. It has to be seen on the big screen and not at home in your brightly lit room with your cell phone in hand.